I love this. It's like half my committee, my parents. This is how you get your seats filled. My son. I know, my son. Anyway, I'm Robyn Curtis, for those of you who I haven't met. I'm chair of the Climate Change Action Committee, and some people think I put this thing on. I didn't. It was a team effort. We have an amazing team. I just happen to be the front man of this crazy group. I'm just going to tell you a little background because some people think this is all we do. And it's actually just one of the many initiatives that we're working on. In 2021, Rotary International announced a 7th area of focus. So before that time, we had 6. And in 2021, we got environment and climate change added to our areas of focus that 1.4 million Rotarians have been told that we need to focus on. And so out of that came 10 of us in our club came together with actually an email that said, well, we have to start somewhere. And we didn't know what that meant. So since then, it's actually grown to 69 members. That's old news. So we actually have 69 members. About 20 of them are members from our Rotary Club, but the rest of them are actually members of the community. So you don't actually have to be a Rotarian to be on this committee. We just want, the more people working on it, the more difference we can make. And our focus is climate mitigation. We know that governments and cities are going to do adaptation, and we are grateful for that, but we're still trying to work on the mitigation aspect. And around the table at the Climate Change Action Group, our scientists are really important, of course. Dr. Cooper, he is my co-founder and the one that keeps me on track working on things that are the right things that we should be working on. But we also have teachers and technical experts and communication specialists, consultants, and of course, we have a panel of scientists. So as I said, we didn't know what we were going to do, so we started small. The city said, hey, we're planting drought-resistant trees, so we helped them plant 22,000 drought-resistant trees. And the reason I tell these stories, by the way, is that I find whenever I do this talk, everybody says, oh, I could do that. I'm in a group that we could do that. So the next part was we created a carbon compensation program for our club. So for those people who, when they travel, they like to buy a carbon offset, instead they can put a little money into our carbon compensation program, and we use that money to do our projects. So you actually know the money's being used for something proper. We did a scholarship for second-year university students, somebody that's working on climate change, so we have that for a scholarship, and then once you get your name out there, it's great. But then the province calls you and says they have 205,000 seedlings that they're about to destroy. Did we want them? So we managed to, in 3 days, rehome in Chilliwack 205,000 trees last year. So then we started picking up steam, and is Arlene here? No. Up on this top right corner, we actually we have a beautiful teacher on our committee who created kindergarten to grade 5 education kits. So they actually got in partnership with the school district. In every single elementary school in our district have now an education kit that the teachers can use. We actually trialed them last year, and the teachers were fighting over who got to use them first to trial them. And so they're a hit, and they don't have to write any new material for a month. They just get to teach off this. So one of the reasons we do that is we know that parents are quite often influenced by what kids learn at school. So we also are giving presentations to community groups. I've been going Rotary to Rotary on a road show because one of the reasons we do this is we want other Rotaries to copy. Rotary is really good at R&D, which is rob and duplicate. If we see another Rotary do something really well, they do it too. So we had a couple other Rotaries circling the event this weekend, so they're here. And then we did a delegation to the city council. So we got to actually tell them what we hope for our city to do, and thanks to that presentation, we got invited to the Affordable Housing and Development Committee. And so there we had all the city developers there, and Tim gave them a talk. I just introduced him. And then he does a talk about how our developers can actually shift off fossil fuels, as we saw with the Rod Nadeau speaking today. We know we can do it better. We just have to do it. Of course, we've now walked ourselves into a full-time volunteer job, but we're starting to look at some really big solar projects. So that's our next work. We're looking at some local projects and looking at how we can help with Indigenous communities further north in our country, where a lot of them are living off diesel. So how Rotary can help with that shift onto more renewable energy. We're just about to do an application to the school board so we can do a presentation on how a lot of schools in our country are actually shifting to renewable energy and shifting their buses to electric. So we're going to do that. And BC Parks Foundation, if you haven't checked it out, they actually have a program where they're trying to conserve 30% of BC by 2030. So our intention is to try to see how we can help. They do crowdsourcing to be able to buy the land. So we're working on how we can partner with them. And then finally, we're going to do videos to help educate. We know that the older grades might need videos. So we're going to do short videos that we're working with the university to create footage to be able to educate that way. So as you can see, the Climate Fair is one of our initiatives, which we love. We love this event, but it's just one. And so our first one was last year. I think how many people were at the last one did? Okay, good. Well, welcome back. Invite your friends next time. And next slide. What I keep getting asked is why we do climate fairs. And I think the most obvious one is education and awareness. We have amazing speakers, we have amazing vendors, and we can learn how to shift to alternative energy. I don't know if you can see over there. The shift to alternative energy is doable, and you can actually save money by doing it. But what we're actually seeing is the vendors are learning from each other, and we didn't know that was going to happen until we held the first one last year. I just heard a story that the solar panel guys have all come together and they're going to form a consortium. So I think that's really a power of these events that we didn't even envision. And of course we've had our MLA here, Kelly Patton is here, the mayor, we've had city councilors going through. So it's an education moment for our decision makers too, who are actually going and they're actually fighting to help with what we're trying to achieve. And then what a lot of people probably don't know as well is this is a fundraiser. So all the people that are at booths that you see here are actually paying to be here. And the money that we're raising, we're hoping to partner with Lawrence Kangilas, MyCod, and the Rotary of Masindi to do a project in Uganda. So that project has really three main parts, more complex than I'm about to explain it. But the first part is a lot of people in Uganda cook with cutting down trees. So there's a lot of deforestation, which is leading to drought and malaria. And so we want to teach people how to create these more fuel-efficient stoves. And none of this is coming from us. We had to ask Lawrence, what would be helpful? And so he came to us and said, this would be helpful, and they have the material that they can use to cook in these stoves. Second is an education program, because it's a culture shift that we want to make. So we need to educate people why we want to change from cutting down trees and cooking with these stoves. And then third, to reforest the area. So all these areas that have been deforested, we also create jobs by reforesting the area and maintaining it. So being part of this event today, the vendors who are down there, they may not even know they were part of this, but it goes beyond these 2 days. And this is why I do it. My son is 11, which is why I will work on this for the rest of my life. But I really feel like for them, we have to do it. I think together we can.